So the doctor said, if this is my thermometer, where's my pen?
Hey YouTubers, what's going on? Welcome to another video of Photoshop tutorials, Photoshop for beginners. Today we're going to be having fun with drop shadows, silhouettes, and mirrors. So let's go ahead and get started. To add a shadow or a silhouette, basically it's a silhouette of the object that you want, and you can turn it into a shadow. Get your subject, which in this case will be Fido here, and click your select tool and select him out. I already made a video of how to select objects. Now let me just emphasize that's going to be, to me, the most important tool you have for photo manipulation. Alright, get good at that, guys. Alright, but to save time, I already photoshopped this guy out. I already cropped him out or selected him out. Here you go. Now let's put the background back in. Make sure your subject is highlighted here. Now to make a shadow or a silhouette, go ahead down here to FX, drop shadow, push OK, and your shadow is in effect. Just you can barely see it, but let's go ahead and do this first. Under your drop shadow right here, put your mouse on there, right click it, and put create new layer. It's going to ask you something, who cares, push OK, and there you go. You have the silhouette of the puppy or a shadow. Let's put the other images back on. Now go ahead and highlight your your silhouette there. Push Control T as in tango, and you can control where the shadow is depending on where your light source is. Or you can have some fun with it. Push Control and then grab one of the boxes and move it around. There you go. Or you can push Alt. Just have fun with it, guys. You can make it bigger, smaller, whatever the hell. Get off. Okay. But in this case, let's do that. X. Okay. Now, if your shadow or silhouette is a little bit too dark and you need a little bit more see-through, just go ahead and reduce the opacity. It makes it a little bit more see-through, a little bit more believable. There you go. As you can see, it's starting to fade away. You can reduce it all the way down to nothing or barely visible if you'd like. Again, depending on your taste, all on your lights and whatnot. But there you go. Or again, if you just want the silhouette itself, you have a silhouette there. Now in this case, it's a little bit too see-through. Raise the opacity all the way, and it's still a little bit too see-through. In my settings, for some reason, I have the fill at 75%. Just make sure the opacity and your fill is at 100% if you want to make a nice little silhouette for a poster or whatever your needs be. Again, another little cool tool. Let's click our subject here, not the shadow, and you can make reflections out of this as well. Let's go ahead and I got my move tool highlighted. We're gonna move our subject into this little Christmas postcard stock photo that I found online. Let's go ahead and reduce the size of our subject here, Control T, and let's go ahead and use Alt, and we'll drag it down. Here we go. Alt, drag down. Why are you acting so weird? Remember, guys, I've told you many times before, I am an amateur as well. Just trying to help out the other amateurs here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and place them here because this seems to be the floor of whatever. The tree has a reflection. The snow globe has a reflection. Let's go ahead and make a reflection of this guy. Make sure your subject is highlighted. Then push Control J. That's going to make a copy of it. And let's go to Edit, down to Transform, and flip horizontally, and there you go. From here, you can either push Control T and rotate them down, or you can go to Edit, Transform, rotate 180 degrees, bam. Now all you need to do is line him up to where his reflection would be, which would be about right there. And again, if you want to make it a little bit more see-through to make the reflection look a little bit more believable, just lower the opacity here until you get the right effect. Look, that's a great effect right there. It's a little bit more for me though. Come on, you bastard. There you go. That's fine right there. This is just a tutorial. But here you go. This is a nice way to make some reflections if your subject is in front of a pond, or if you have just a background of a nice watery pond or a reflective layer and you want to add your subject in there. Remember, Photoshop, your limit is your imagination. It's awesome. Here we go. let me okay, this portrait is a beautiful little baby girl that I took. Here I cropped out her eyes because I'm just way too lazy to pick up a phone and ask the father if I have permission to show her face. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. But mainly because I wanted to highlight her eyes. I'm not trying to suck myself off here, but the portrait I did of her is a very beautiful portrait, and it would be great if they excuse me, if they blew it up and they printed it out, put it on their wall. Now, what would be a good little Easter egg though was for the photo shoot, I took a picture of her daddy throwing his baby girl up in the air, which I thought would be great. We can go ahead and silhouette that, and what would be awesome is you can see the light boxes I used to light her up. Excuse me, I think I'm getting sick here. Here are the light boxes I used to light her up, and in those light boxes, I thought it would be really, really cool to put the silhouette of her daddy throwing his little girl up in the air. Just a little, kind of like an Easter egg for a movie. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Now again, get your select tool, highlight it all, which I've already done, and just to save some time, here you go. And once again, to get the silhouette, make sure your subject is highlighted here once it's all selected out. FX, drop shadow, and just push OK. Drop shadow here, put your mouse on drop shadow, right click, create layer. OK. And here we go, we have our silhouette. Make sure this thing's highlighted. Make sure your move tool's done, and drag and click it to the picture you want, which is this one. It's a little bit too tall, so Control T. And let's here you go. Find a corner. You can push. Let me see what we'll do here. Yeah, push Alt or Control, whichever one you like. You can just go ahead and have fun with it. Make it real small. Now again, no one's gonna notice this right away, but if you point it out, or the more they stare at the picture, it's gonna look really, really cool. Enter, and there you go. Look how cool that is. And if it's too dark for you, again, just lower the opacity, make it a little bit more see-through if you'd like. Kind of like that. That is awesome. Here you go. And to show you the finished product of how I did it, here you go. You got daddy throwing his baby girl up in the air in the reflection of her eyes. I thought was a really, really cool picture. Now let's go ahead and have some fun with mirrors. When I know there's been some photos up on the internet that look really creepy with the object in the mirror not doing the same thing as the subject in front of the mirror. Let me show you how they did that. Or unless you think it's a ghost, then fuck it, it's a ghost. Here's the end result of how I did it. Here's a nice little example. Here's a little shoot I did one time, and a gun. I'm too lazy to call these people and ask if I have permission, so I just blacked out their face. This is a wrestler buddy of mine, and he just won his championship belt, and I thought it'd be a really good photo, just him in average clothes, doing what he normally does, just whatever, and in the reflection of him shows the heart of a champion. I thought that would be really cool. Let's go ahead and show you how to do it. First of all, make sure you have a tripod. You're gonna have to invest in a tripod because you don't want that camera to move at all. Make sure your subject is standing on the side of the mirror. Get a tripod and make sure you're kind of angled at it. You don't want your camera to come out in the mirror at all. And basically take 2 photos, and that's all there is. Let me show you this one. Now this is my beautiful wife yawning, and she is gonna hate me for it, but here she is on the side of the mirror. My camera is on a tripod facing away, but all I really want is this right here. Now we're gonna impose this onto this. She's gonna be facing me, and in the picture she's gonna be facing me as well. Let me show you how to do that. Now with mirrors and this setup that you have here, the better you get at it, the closer this subject can move to the mirror. But for now, just starting off, let's get her as far to the side of the mirror as possible, and on the other side is going to be your camera. Now this one, we want this beautiful yawning face. So get your selector tool, and since I have actually all this space to work with, I don't really need to concentrate on just selecting her. If you have it on a tripod, the whole picture is not going to move, either pictures. So just get a good selection right here. There you go. Bam. And yeah, that's all you need, because if you have it on a tripod, none of this is gonna move. So you got your selection there. Let's go ahead and push Control J, and that makes a copy of the selection you just did. get your move tool, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a little bit. I like to talk. I'm kind of winded, but let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Get your move tool and make sure the selection that you just did is right here. Click and drag to the picture that you want. We're going to move it here. Let go. And all you got to do is line everything up. And there you go. For me, a good, here you go. You see this line, or focus on any one point. Like here, we can use the corners. But for me, the line right here on the lamp, as you can see a little bit better right here on the bottom. Just make sure it's nice and lined up. There you go. And there's no flaws, no nothing. And it looks like, you know, maybe she's possessed or something, or the mirror's possessed, or it's a ghost. That's how they've done it before. Obviously, you're going to have to use darker lighting and a little bit more spookier environment if you're trying to make this picture kind of like a scary picture for Halloween. Let's try another one real quick. Here's another one. The best, in my opinion, the best spooky mirror shot is when the mirror just does something very subtly that does not match your subject. Like in this case, we have my subject here, my wife. She's looking at a DVD. I don't know what the hell. But in this one, her face is going to be turning towards the camera, making a hideous face. So again, I have so much room to play with here, so I'm just going to make a huge highlighted area just to where at least my subject is in there. There you go. Bam. Yeah, you got the majority there. As long as your subject's in there, that's cool, and as long as you have enough room to play around with. Press Control J, make a copy of it. There we go. Get your move tool, and let's move it back to the picture that we wanted. Come on, you bastard. Oh, I hate this shit. Okay, here we go. One more time. Take two. Here we go. Okay. Now again, since your camera's on a tripod, nothing should have moved except for your subject itself. So all you got to do is line it up. Again, for me, I think the best point of reference would be the bottom of this lamp. So let's go ahead and move her up and down. Get everything nice. Make sure there's no flaws or double lines or anything like that we'd see. And that should be good. It's flawless right here on the mirror, and it's flawless right here on the seams of the door, which would be this. Now, to me, this is a creepier picture. Subject's just doing something easy, and just a subtle change in the mirror makes it look a little bit creepy. Put this on the internet, and you're going to have so many believers, and then again, so many disbelievers as well. But just as long as your stuff gets attention, I think that's cool. Again, once you get better at this, guys, again, the only limits are your imagination, folks. So I hope this is at least just a little stepping stool for you guys to go ahead and start working on your photo manipulation. All right, guys. Till then, I think that's going to be it for today. If you have any questions, feel free to put it on the comments. Just remember, I am an amateur myself. I'm teaching amateurs, but I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Again, as you go, I said this many times before in many of my other videos. If you start this hobby, which, you know, it's a lot to learn in this hobby, but sometime down the line, if you want to do an effect that we have covered or in any other video, you can subscribe to my channel, Everyday Random Shit, SH exclamation point T, and most of these Photoshop tutorials are going to be in a little playlist. Or if not, just go ahead and push like on that YouTube thing of yours. Whenever you get back on YouTube, you're going to have a little slot in your profile that says all the videos that you've liked, and it's a lot easier for you to find some of the videos that helped you with tutorials when it comes to Photoshop. So down the line, oh, how did he do that so-and-so effect? Oh, you know what? Let me go to my liked videos. Oh, that's right. It's right here. It's a lot easier to find. Trust me. But until next time, guys, everybody be cool.